are expected to do is to become a charger station and also a station in which electricity can be sent into the nearby community. What happens if there is a leakage in any of the batteries or there is damage to any of the batteries is there will be an explosion and it will take 5 to 6 days to burn out. There is no known way of putting out those fires. Again, I asked you to look at the 60-minute special that was done just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
It has been a plague in California. Now, you have to ask yourself, you look at the green monster behind us. In any new developed property, there's supposed to be signage. There is the plastic panel on the green wall with no identifiable information. No LLC company, no permit, no nothing. For that and that alone, the owners and operators of this site, who are subsidiaries of 9DOT, which manages and owns all of these lithium-ion battery warehouses, they should be cited. But is there anybody in City Hall who's going to do that? No. Absolutely not. Now, if you don't separate your compost out of the garbage now, you get a $300 fine. If you don't have the right garbage can as a homeowner, you're going to pay a substantial fine after the city ripped you off and told you you had to buy from only one vendor in North Carolina. You couldn't go to a local hardware store or Home Depot to do it. I've never heard of anything like that, but they'll fine you. Speed cameras, red light cameras, congestion pricing, they fine you. This is a potential toxic, endangered area to this community. And they have no signage at all. Now, why do they not have any signage on the walls? Because they don't want the homeowners or business owners here to know exactly what's going on, because inquiring minds would probably take down the information and immediately Google. And then they would come across the 60-minute special and other stories of these fires that have taken place in these warehouses that store lithium-ion batteries. Well, guess what? The reason they can do this is because of a law that was passed by City Council and signed by the mayor. And they were dancing the tarantella, they were dancing the salsa, they were having a party. It's called the City of Yes. Originally, if we had any kind of a plan for a community, it would have to first be looked at by the community board. Community boards were set up in 1963 by then Mayor Robert Wagner. I learned that in public school when they used to teach civics. The idea of the mayor was to outsource responsibility to the neighborhoods. Take control of the neighborhoods through the community board. You would have to present your ideas to the community board, and the community board could vote yay or nay. Now, it doesn't mean you couldn't have your project. But the other person who was given responsibility is the city council person. That person, it was called city council deference. So let's say land use said it was okay. Let's say the community board said it was okay. Let's say that all 50 of the members of the city council said okay. The council person here, if they went no, it was no. Give you a recent example. We have a new council person up in District 13, Christy Mayoral, the Republican who replaced Marjorie Velasquez, because the community did not want upzoning. The community board did not want upzoning, which destroys the fabric, the residential nature of the community, and at the last second, Team Adams bought her off with jobs. If you want to find Marjorie Velasquez now and her family, they work at City Hall. Why? Because she was thrown out. They lost the Democratic seat, which is normally a guarantee, to a Republican that hadn't occurred in 30 years on that one issue. So understand this. Do we see any elected officials here today? Huh? Why not? Yeah. And they don't even know about this. See, normally I'm the one that says corruption, follow the money, they get wind down parking line. Do you know they have no idea what this facility will end up being? Nobody's told because remember, nobody had to go to the community board. Nobody had to go to the city council person. The city of Yes permits them to say, we don't need to talk to any of you. We have the right to put this here, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. Well, obviously there is. I'll explain that. But I just want you to see this. I want you to look at the wall. In almost every construction project that exists in the city, even when you rehab a building, they make you put up all kinds of signs from the Department of Buildings, Environmental Protection Agency. I get vertigo having to read all those signs in Manhattan. But in the Bronx, you don't have to do that. Because they don't care about the Bronx. They don't care about the outer boroughs. Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island. Are any of these facilities slated to be built on Park Avenue in Manhattan? Sutton Place, Billionaires Row, which is Central Park South, or any other neighborhood in Manhattan? The answer is no. Only the outer boroughs. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you're opposed to lithium-ion batteries. No. If you're going to put one of these up, it should be in an industrial area. An example, this all started in Staten Island. That's the other forgotten borough. Remember, they used to send all our garbage to Staten Island until finally they said enough is enough. So they want to build 8. Imagine, the borough only has 500,000 people, and they want to put 8 of them in there, and most of them on the South Shore. One of them is acceptable to the community because it's near the West Shore area, which is all industrial. Nobody is saying you can't do that. The community is actually saying, yeah, that's the right place. Because everybody knows they're going to need more energy because of something that a guy named Andrew Cuomo did when he was governor. Just before he had to flee because he feared being impeached or indicted. And that was he took Indian Point down. No more nuclear energy. That was 1/3 of our energy supply. He didn't allow for fracking, so no natural gas. And there wasn't enough hydroelectric power from upstate New York or Canada to suffice. And the other thing that was important is that he built windmills that they thought would generate a lot more electricity. It is not delivered as expected. So now, to get the electricity necessary in the outer boroughs, and more of us are dependent on that with all of our devices, they feel they have to build these lithium-ion battery warehouses so that when the power grid is low, it's not going to blow in Manhattan. But it has already blown in outer neighborhoods of Queens and Staten Island in the Bronx. From time to time, we call them brownouts. They weren't necessarily blackouts. They know that. Con Ed is telling us the grid does not have enough electrical supply. But now you have an unholy cabal. Con Ed could easily say, no, we'll put the lines in the industrial areas, but you find out it's more expensive. You also find out that NINDOT has to pay more money for the property in an industrial area than in a residential area. Look, you got homes here, homes in the area. If this warehouse of lithium-ion batteries blows up, which 40 have done already, it's an 8 square mile plume of hydrochloric acid and other toxic chemicals, a mini Chernobyl. If you have any investments in the area, your home, which most Americans, that's their sole investment, that's their equity, you can forget about it. Nobody's going to want to come in. It's going to be like Love Canal was up near Niagara Falls, the Buffalo area. Nobody's going to want to buy your house, and if they do, it'll be at an appreciated rate. Do you have enough toxicity in the Bronx already? Yes. Yeah. Have they dumped enough garbage, industrial waste, toxic waste in the borough? Where are the elected officials? This is the most dangerous thing of all, and nobody knew about it. And all you had to do was Google. So my wife could not be here today, Nancy. Any of you who listened to her with me on WABC. She's the attorney. She does the deep dive. She came up with this. Just to finish off, Robert Holden, one of the best city council people we have, a Democrat who's one of the leaders of the Common Caucus with Republicans. I had to inform him that we're putting one in Middle Village between two schools and residential buildings. And they had a rally last week. He had no idea because of the city of yes. Now, the law is a corporate developer does not have to go through a community board, a civic group. It doesn't have to inform the elected officials. So, again, we might think it's corrupt. No.
Car.
They just don't have to tell anybody. And now, this is the first of what will be a mobilization. Because we have to inform all these residents. We even have to inform all these commercial owners and operators of property here. This is a danger to everybody.
Is my bag still there?
Nobody seems to care that we're on the front line.
Oh.
Consider us like Paul Revere. So we're alerting everybody in the Bronx. We're going to shut this down.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you exactly how. Robert Holden, because he's so angry now, is going to propose legislation in the city council. Joanne Ariola, who's in charge of fire and safety, the committee is going to conduct hearings. And we're reaching out to Lee Zeldin, former Suffolk County Congressman, almost beat Hochul in the recent gubernatorial election, now is the Secretary of the EPA. And we're begging him to put a stay on this because you talk about an environmental emergency. There already have been 40 fires. Again, I refer to people 60 Minutes. Did a complete investigation. There is no safety valve. There is no safety gap. When they go on fire, they burn out. It takes 5 or 6 days. And what you come back to find after you're forced to evacuate is going to be a toxic area that you'll probably want to pack your bags and leave immediately. Remember, Christine Whitman, who was the former governor of New Jersey, EPA chief for Bush 43, after the attack of 9/11, said, oh, you don't have to worry. The air is clean and fresh. You don't need hazmat suits. You don't need gloves. You don't need masks. You don't need any protective gear. And the men and women went into the pile day in, day out. And how many of them died? How many of them suffered? How many of them continue to die? Where's Christine Whitman now? She's on a horse farm in northern New Jersey. Meantime, you cannot trust the government when it comes to these issues because either out of ignorance or greed, because they're getting political donations. They want to shield the people. We trust the people here. This is not a Republican rally, a conservative rally, a Democratic rally. This is a people's rally. And I feel as the candidate running as the people's candidate for mayor, it's important that we spread this message. We did it in Staten Island. We've done it in Brooklyn. 8 locations in Staten Island, 4 in Brooklyn, 1 in Queens, more to come. And you got to believe, with nobody in the Bronx having known about this, it was at your meeting 3 weeks ago on a Sunday that I announced it. Said, no, it can't be. How come we didn't hear about it? It was meant to be. They wouldn't let you hear about it. When we walk back to the locations, walk by the green monster here. Check the plastic panel that, by the way, is covered with this yellow vehicle here, which I really don't know what it is, but it conveniently covers it up. But once you actually go behind it and you see the plastic panel, there's nothing in it. That's a message to people in the Bronx. You are people of no consequence. You're standing in our way. Corporate profits should persevere. And if there is a problem, well, we're trying to provide energy because you're all screaming you don't have enough energy on your grid and you've had brownouts. So Con Edison, with this corporate company, an entity, an LLC of 9 Dot, we're trying to help you, the people. They're not helping you, the people. They're helping their stock portfolios. They're helping their bottom line, and they're putting you in jeopardy, and we're not going to permit that. So please, before we go back to the corner to resume, please just walk through this area. It's a little dangerous there. And look at the plastic panel with nothing in it. Normally, a site would be cited immediately and the owners and operators of the property and whoever is putting up a warehouse of any type or a building would have to post probably about 10 or 12 official government papers citing what it is. Not one. But please do that now and realize we're not embellishing this. We're not spreading fear, fright, hysteria, and hype. This is a reality. 40 fires in the country, every one of them burned out within 4 or 5 days. They had no remedy to put it out. And they're telling all of you, you don't have a right to know. Of course you have a right to know. You're the people. And we are representing the interests of the people. So please, let's walk over there now.
One second first. There's 25 people who live in that building, 4 children. Go to the school right over here. Okay? These are the occupants of the building right here. Not one word was said. Not one word was said. Not one notification was made to this, other than seeing a 9-dot guy about a week ago walking on a property with a 9-dot jacket and some other guy. That was it.
Go.
Nothing was said to anybody here. You have 2 people on the side right here. This is not a commercial area. You have commercial. It's an M11 area, but it's not a solely commercial area. So again, no notification, no statute, no nothing made. And what happens when the back of that wall gets blown out? You've seen the explosions from this. That back of that wall is what, only 2 bricks thick. You're gonna kill literally 25 people in there. And then a little bit of explosion, you're gonna kill the people over here, another 20. So this is worth the life, including the working people. The working people, you got about 10 people here behind you. You got about another 12 over there. And so you're gonna knock out 60, 70 people. This is what this government is about. Not notifying people, putting everybody in danger. I say put it back where the people who come up with the idea, put it back in them.
Well, just so you know, this all happened relatively quickly. As soon as the city of Yes was passed, and the developers and the owners of the property knew that that was going to pass, they had already counted heads, so they had already invested. Because then they knew afterwards, forget the civic groups, forget the community boards, forget the local elected official. Again, I asked, any elected officials here? Nope. Normally we would say they don't care. They don't know. You call up any of their offices and you say, look at it, check the property here, right? Are you aware that 9-dot is going to put up a lithium-ion battery warehouse, a danger? And
what
the
about the
answer is
public
no.
school right here? The public school, how many people in that public school? How many people in that public school? Children, ages 7 to what? 10? 8th grade. Right here, just right, not even a block away. That's gonna carry over and what? Injure and kill them, right? So close to a school.
Exactly. I mean, you have a right to know. I don't know of one neighborhood except that one near West Shore, which is an industrial area where there have been no protests. None of those communities. 8 in the South Shore, they didn't know. 4 in Brooklyn. 2 of them right on Quinton Road in Flatbush, a heavily residential area, heavily trafficked. In Georgetown, in Canarsie, where I was originally born and raised. You look in Queens, Middle Village. You look here up of Boston Road. And there are many more that are going to be built to supplement the energy that did not exist as a result of Andrew Cuomo, who put offline Indian Point. The other factor is we had a demonstration at their corporate headquarters on J Street in downtown Brooklyn. The company that reps 9-dot is Mercury. When you look up who does the PR for Andrew Cuomo, it's Charlie King and Mercury. When I had a conversation with the Mercury rep there, because, you know, he identified himself, I said, I'd like to know what former Governor Cuomo thinks about this. No comment. What do you mean no comment? I thought he's here for the people. Eric Adams did comment just last week to a Polish-American reporter. Even the mainstream media didn't ask him. The Polish-American reporter from Rama TV from Greenpoint said, you understand there are Polish Americans complaining in Glendale that you're putting one in Middle Village. And the mayor said, oh, it's totally safe. You don't think I would do anything to jeopardize the citizens of New York City? You damn well we know you have. You've done it before with the migrant shelters, with the normal shelters. You've done it with the city of Yes, and you're doing it now with lithium-ion battery warehouse. We're supposed to trust Eric Adams? So where is Andrew Cuomo on this issue? Hopefully some of you will question him. The mayor, we know where he is. He supports it. And the liberals, progressives, and socialists who would also like to be mayor, they support it because they believe this is green energy. It is. No, we don't have a problem with that. It's where do you put it? If you put it in a residential area, there's going to be an accident. People who live right here are in danger. People who work in these facilities are in danger. Police who police the area are in danger. Everybody's in danger, except for people down at City Hall. They don't care about the Bronx. They don't care about Queens or Brooklyn or Staten Island. I've asked 9DOT, do you have any properties in Manhattan where you're going to put this? Because they use most of the electricity in the city. It's understood. No. Why not? Well, what do you mean, well? We're a dumping ground. And that's got to stop. So please, let's pass by there, take a quick look, follow me, and we'll go on the corner and reassemble. We have a new Department of Buildings Commissioner who replaced the recent one, Eric Ulrich, who was indicted early on in the Adams administration. His name is Jimmy Otto. At least he was. Now he's the Sanitation Commissioner. I've been trying to find out who is the new Department of Buildings Commissioner, and it's like you get spun around like a top. So we've got to work on this real quick. Who got the permit? Where are the licenses? Where's the Department of Buildings? Where are the specs? Why is it that nobody has been informed of this whatsoever? You won't ever see a construction project without that information, and if it doesn't have it, they get fined severely. But notice how they blocked it out. And as Gonzalo said, it wasn't here last week. It only got here when we started asking questions and started talking about the fact that this is an illegal site to begin with, not properly licensed, not properly permitted, and all part of the attempt of putting up a warehouse for lithium-ion batteries. But let's walk to the corner if we can and give everybody an opportunity to be heard.